Hello, everyone. I'm Drachona. I just had a really quick thought on Amy Schumer, specifically her being cast as Barbie. Now, I know she's gotten a lot of shit about this. Honestly, I don't really care about the fact that she was actually cast as Barbie. I just wanted to talk more about where I think this movie's existence may end up going. But real quick, just on the fact that she was cast as Barbie, I don't really care because it's not aimed at me personally. I'm kind of split when it comes to like changing Barbie's image to be a bit more realistic. I think it's a good idea to be more realistic, although I don't think that kids believe that Barbie is supposed to be either completely realistic or the ideal image. I give kids more credit than that. I don't think that they're that stupid, and if they believe that, then parents should just do their fucking job and explain to them that this is not an ideal, this is not a goal. You, be yourself. Because for some people, that kind of ideal is not even physically possible. Some people just aren't built that way. It doesn't matter how skinny you are, you're just not built that way, and it's unrealistic. But, so anyway, I don't dislike the idea of trying to change Barbie's image. For me, what annoys me is when it's clearly forced. The way they do it, it just comes across like they don't really give a shit. They're just pandering to particular groups of people because they want to appease them. I guess it's the sincerity of it. It doesn't seem like you're really trying to help kids, like you're really trying to improve their perceptions of the world. To me, it seemed more like there's just a bunch of adults who are pissing and moaning because they're still children, basically. They haven't actually grown up, and they don't know how to deal with reality. They feel like they need other people to change things for them because, they don't have the fortitude to change anything themselves. So they're pissing and moaning about Barbie, and they want things to be changed, but they haven't actually stopped and asked whether or not that's necessary for the kids. The target demographic. That's just the thing that annoys me. This whole Amy Schumer being cast as Barbie, the moment I heard this, I didn't really believe that it was true. And I don't know for sure how final this is. Until I see a trailer, I just don't take it very seriously. But it doesn't really surprise me because Amy Schumer's kind of coming up in movies. She's gaining popularity. I personally don't find her funny at all. I've yet to see anything that she said that really made me laugh. Maybe like one out of context joke in a stand-up that kind of made me laugh. I mean, it wasn't super funny, but it made me chuckle. But for the most part, I just don't find her funny. I find her delivery very poor. In movies, she's not as bad as Melissa McCarthy, but that's really not saying much. That's kind of like looking at a dictator and saying, well, they're not as bad as Hitler. Oh god, okay, that's not a comparison of Melissa McCarthy to Hitler. We need to stop comparing people to Hitler. That's the real problem of our modern age. Comparisons to Hitler. Anyway, getting back on topic as this thought gets longer and longer, I wanted to bring up not really a concern, but just something I'm noticing. I was talking about Ghostbusters 2016 before a lot of people were. I wasn't the first, but I noticed the article in Entertainment Weekly and I started talking about it. And then more and more people started talking about it, and I made a few more videos about it over time. But I'm just noticing this right off the bat. This article that says Amy Schumer's Barbie casting has already brought out the body-shaming internet trolls by Sarah Murphy. Now, this was actually back in early December in 2016, so I guess I'm a little late. But looking at this, does this seem familiar at all? Like, maybe the closer and closer we get to this movie, if it is real, we're gonna start seeing more of this shit. And I'm just thinking, do you guys really want to go this direction? I mean, it didn't really work out well for Ghostbusters. They caught a lot of shit for alienating people, for basically just lumping in all people who dislike the movie as trolls. And then even if the movie looks like shit, like if the trailer comes out for this and it looks like another Amy Schumer movie, it's probably going to get a lot of shit. So I'm just saying, you might want to think twice before you start putting out articles and shit that are demonizing all people who give the movie crap as trolls, as misogynists, as, body shaming people. Just be careful. I mean, I don't really give a shit about these people. I'm just saying, I'm just giving you some advice. I could care less whether or not you take it. Because honestly, I don't care about whether or not this movie succeeds. I mean, if this ends up being a more adult comedy, and it's just kind of about Barbie, it's not really aimed at kids, I might care a little bit more because I care about modern comedy, and God, modern comedy actors just suck, and Amy Schumer is right up there with them. Just not funny, not good actors. I mean, at least Amy Schumer can do stand-up. I don't think that any other modern comedy actor can say that. At least not the big ones. But, so, I do care about modern comedy. I don't really care about Barbie. But for me, I'm just kind of noticing this is looking like the beginning of the same trend. It looks like we're going the same direction. Like, we're going to start seeing more and more of these articles that are accusing all people who give the movie hate of being trolls and being misogynists and being sexists and whatever. You just don't like fat women. And I know I said this was going to be a short thought, but just to add on something, this whole body positivity thing, look, I understand you shouldn't shame people for being how they are, and I think shame is kind of a vague term. I mean, I understand, yes, something can be shaming, but what exactly do you mean? Because there's a line to cross. There's a difference between saying, hey, fat ass, you look ugly, and just saying, well, maybe that's not so healthy. If you lump those two things into the same category, you're really obscuring what you mean by shame. I don't advocate for people making fun of other people for being fat. But at the same time, being fat is not healthy. Take it from somebody who was a pudgy kid. I was pudgy as a preteen. I mean, when I was younger, I was skinny. But then when I hit my teenage years, I was pudgy. I wasn't super fat, but I was not skinny. Okay? But I lost weight over time. I gained muscle over time. Now I don't even look like I did back then. So take it from somebody who was actually pretty pudgy. It's not healthy. It's not healthy to be fat. That's just reality. I would say I'm sorry if that offends people, but I'm really not. If you're fat and you feel bad because people tell you it's unhealthy, sorry, that's just a medical fact. I mean, that'd be like somebody, back when I drank soda, if somebody said, it's not a good thing for you to drink soda. It really isn't. That's why I quit. That's why I quit drinking soda. It really isn't. That's just a fact. It's not healthy. You can't get upset about something that's just true. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't live a long and relatively healthy life as somebody who's slightly overweight. Someone like Amy Schumer, she's not really fat. I don't personally find her attractive, but I think it's her personality that ruins it for me. There's nothing that ruins a person's appearance like a personality. You could be smoking hot, but if you got a shitty personality, you might as well be Gollum. It just ruins it right off the bat. And her personality, her delivery sickens me. So I don't know. Maybe she is attractive, but I can't see past the kind of person that she is. But my point is, again, it's just like the thing with Barbie. It's just like, changing the image. I agree with the basic sentiment of body positivity, that it's like you shouldn't look down on yourself for the way that you are, especially if there's little that you can do to change it. You shouldn't hate yourself for being fat. No, you should not hate yourself for being fat. But if you are fat, if you want to stay fat, that's fine. That's your choice. But you have to accept the fact that it's unhealthy, that there may be complications for it. You might be lucky. You might go through your life and have no problems. And that's fine. Again, it's your choice. Don't care what other people say. Don't care what other people say to you. They call you fat, say, fuck you. Or say, yeah, I am. What's your point? Why should I care? Because you don't have to. You don't have to care. And that's the key thing. You don't have to be offended. You don't have to be hurt by what they say. I know it's hard. I know it's difficult. Like I said, I was a pudgy kid. I didn't deal with that a lot, but I dealt with it sometimes. And I've been made fun of for plenty of other reasons, especially when I was younger. Well, let's face it, almost entirely while I was younger. But just don't let it in. Don't care. And like I said, if you want to live your life being fat, that's fine. No one can stop you from doing that, but you have to accept the fact that if someone says it's not healthy, that's just true. You can ignore them, but it's a simple fact. I mean, like I said, on the one side, I agree with stuff like that. I agree with people when they talk about how, in our culture, at least in the U.S., we have a lot of false ideas about appearance, just unrealistic standards. But at the same time, there are people who meet those standards, so they're not that unrealistic. I've quarreled with my doctor before about the BMI chart because it's a load of bullshit. According to that chart, I've been obese my entire life, and yet my friend who was... Try wrapping your head around this. He was so underweight because of a metabolism problem that he had to gain weight to get into the Marines. And he couldn't do it. He could not do it. He could not gain the weight necessary to get into the Marines. And yet he, according to the BMI chart, was considered normal. Now that's a load of bullshit. So yeah, we do have unrealistic standards sometimes, but the reality is there are people who are skinny. There are guys who are just ripped, who are super muscular and have like 0.001 body fat. Maybe not that dramatic, but those people exist and they're unrealistic goals. I don't feel that I need to look like that because fuck it, I like cake. I like cookies. I like pizza. I used to like soda. Not anymore, but I still like sweet tea, I'll tell you that. I enjoy certain things about life that don't really lead me down the path to being, to having like 1% body fat, being a bodybuilder. It's just not something that I want to do. And you don't have to, if you're a woman and you're slightly overweight or just not that perfect ideal, you don't have to go down that path. You do not have to seek that ideal. Just be yourself. But like I said, you have to accept the fact that if you are obese or at least significantly overweight, that can have complications. That is unhealthy. So don't get mad at somebody for pointing that out, especially if they're just trying to do it in a helpful way. If they're just saying, hey, just so you know, that's unhealthy. Don't get mad at them for that. You can get mad at the people who, are just calling you fat to upset you. You can get mad at them all day. Although, like I said, you should just ignore them. Fuck them. Who cares what they think? They don't define you, you define yourself. Anyway, as usual, I've rambled on about this longer than I expected. Because this was originally about just my concern that there's going to be this campaign of, being against the the body shaming, sexist, misogynist trolls as this Barbie movie, if it is legitimate, gets closer and closer to release. And then even afterwards, it's just going to be Ghostbusters 2016 all over again. Hopefully not. But just looking at looking at this title, it just seems a little too familiar. I guess we'll see. But anyway, those are my thoughts on Amy Schumer being cast as Barbie, and apparently my thoughts on body positivity, on embracing yourself for who you are and not caring about what other people think, while at the same time accepting reality. Hey, what do you know? You can do both. You could ignore the people who are just trying to hurt you while at the same time acknowledge that some people are trying to help you. You can ignore the things that are trying to tear you down and still have a positive image of yourself while at the same time acknowledging your flaws. You know, you can look in the mirror, you can see the things that are great, you can see the things that are, I wouldn't say horrible, but you can see the things that are good, you can see the things that need improvement. Think of it that way. They're not things that are bad about you. They're things that need improvement or could be improved. You just have to make the choice to improve them. You know, you look in the mirror, you see that muffin top, you see, you know, that little bit of extra fat under your arm or whatever it may be. Or, you know, I don't know, you look in the mirror and you see acne and you think, shit, I could really use a treatment. You see those things as imperfections. Acknowledge that you can choose to change those things, or at least try to change those things, and be a stronger person. Or you can decide for yourself that maybe that's not what you need. Maybe that won't make you a stronger person. Maybe you don't need to care about those ideals, about those standards. Maybe it doesn't matter to you. Just make your own choices and live your life. People aren't going to prevent you from doing that, at least in most cases. Just do what you want to do. Don't give a shit about what other people think. You know, take advice for advice. Take trolling for trolling. Take insults for insults. Find value in all of it. And just live your life. I'm Drachona, and have a nice day. You know, it's come to my attention that I have a great tendency to ramble on, and it's because I feel like I'm giving a speech to people. Like, I have all these ideas, all these conceptions, all of these pieces of advice that I feel I need to get out to people, which is really weird because I'm actually a pretty introverted person. I'm not overly narcissistic, so I don't know why I feel the need to do that. I guess I sit around and think about this shit all the time, and I think, oh, hey, that's a good idea. Or I see people who have just ridiculous ideas, or people who think badly about themselves, or, you know, think badly, poorly, whatever, about other people. And I just think, oh man, if you just thought of it this way, then maybe the world would be a better place. You know, maybe you'd have better interactions. Maybe this fight wouldn't occur. I don't know. I guess it's just the kind of person that I am. Meanwhile, turning this all into videos and hoping that people will actually, you know, watch it. Well, yeah, first of all, watch it at all, and then maybe extract some kind of value from it. But hey, you know, can't win if you don't play.